What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Yeah.
But now I'm a mom, and that is my Sunday. And that's what you do when you love your family. And that's what you do when you want to provide. When it comes to the school to prison pipeline, there are a lot of states in the Midwest, southern states, Texas, Georgia, Florida is the worst, where they have this 3-strike system. And this 3-strike system is basically your child from elementary, middle school, high school is on this disciplinary track record, which is basically a contract with the state where if they get expelled or suspended this amount of times, then they're on a 3-strike record. So by the time they get out of school, high school, and they're an adult, as long as they're over 18, now we can hold your behavior since elementary, middle school, and high school against you as an adult and have you go directly into a prison system where prisons are making 30 grand off of each prisoner in a cell.
Yeah. And you continue to eat bad in prison. I mean, the food doesn't get any better, right? I know people laugh about the prison food and things like that, but food is medicine. Food is absolutely medicine.
Cool, and whatever you put in your mouth.
Yeah. And I think that a lot. Go ahead.
It's something you want, is something you feel like you need. And even when it comes to prisons, we've seen how a lot of prisoners have been treated during this pandemic. Their toilets in their cells are over flooded. They got poop water on the floor. They haven't been fed in 4 days. They haven't had any clean water. Where they sleep and where they have to be is not sanitary. And these prisons are getting at least 30 grand or more for each prisoner being in that cell. So it's not that they don't have the money, because the prisons are overcrowded. They have the money, but they're funding other things. These big companies that you pay your insurance to, that you pay for your lights, these companies are funding these private prisons. So it's this whole wash your hands system. You wash mine, I'm going to wash yours. I'm going to make sure you have this. I'm going to make sure you're elected in the next 2 years. I'm going to make sure you have this. I'm going to make sure this is your salary. I'm going to make sure you're in this position. They're all working together, and we, the citizens, are out here working long hours, being away from our kids, not being around our kids, and they have all this outside influence. So we have to understand that how you discipline your kid at home is important.
But I also think so. I think that what we have to do is have a greater understanding of value in our community, right? Like the people who own the prisons, they shouldn't see more value in us, meaning as commodity for them, than we see the value in each other as being a part of contributors to the society. Because like contribution in the prison is contribution that's going upwards towards the rich people, where contribution in the community should be contribution that's spread throughout the community so that everybody gets the benefit. And I think that for all of us, we have to do a couple of things, which is stop judging each other when it comes down to someone wanting to make a lifestyle change, right? You see somebody who's like, oh, I'm going vegan, or I'm going to start eating, being vegetarian, or I'm not going to eat as much meat. Like all these assumptions or the assertion that we make about each other. Oh, well, you think you better than me because you no, I'm just trying to make better decisions. I'm trying to try something differently, to do something different. And I feel like some of the solutions in the fact that we know that these prisons make a buku. I mean, fist over hand, hand over fist. They're making so much money off of us. But we could be doing that. We can actually be taking the money back into our communities by doing some really like internal work, character work. That judging each other it really is a prime example. We went vegan like 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago, me and Kevin and the kids. Now, I'm not gonna lie. The transition was we purged for like a good 3 months. Like we were purging everything. At first I was like, are we sick? Like, but it was, I mean, we were shedding everything. I mean, and so anyway, so around like everybody else, my family, my friends, we would get pizza. If we got pizza, we make sure we didn't put cheese on the pizza. I mean, we went full vegan, no dairy, no meat, nothing. We ate a lot of beans and spinach and kale and mushrooms, sweet potato. I mean, everything was full vegan.
Bruce
so that was like for
the stock for the tissue was up.
Girl, it was a lot. I was like, man, I don't know if we have to go to the hospital. Like we are everybody was just in the bathroom all the time. But when everybody cleared up, we like everybody had a lot more energy. I could think clearer. Like your libido, I mean everything, girl, you just feel like a person that's working properly. Yeah. And amongst our friends and our families, when we would go and have maybe, we'd go to a Mother's Day celebration or 4th of July or what have you, and we try to bring something different. Nobody wanted to do it. They're like, ooh. So we didn't have much of that support, but I think that we have to do a better job of doing the food education so that when someone is transitioning to a different lifestyle that's healthier for them, they feel that's healthier for them, we have to be willing to listen, not maybe try it right away, but we have to be willing to listen too, because the village is real. You do need a village in order for people to start changing mindsets, accepting different things that's going to be a benefit versus the things that we've been used to because we've been addicted to these things for so long. Another thing is, goes back to what I was talking about earlier, which is religion. I feel like the behaviors and characteristics are so, to me, morality, right? Morality is is akin to religion. And I feel like whatever religious houses we have in our communities, it needs to be talking about food. It needs to be talking about sustainability. It needs to be talking about building. Who in the community wants to be an engineer? Who in the community wants to be a doctor? Who in the community wants to be a healer? What roles are the people having in the community so we can support them?
Who wants to create their own school?
Exactly. And what are we teaching at this school? Are we talking about food in the school? Are we talking about economics? Are we talking about agriculture? What are we talking about to continue to sustain this community? Another one is culture. I feel like, right now, food is entertainment, right? Everybody on our social media feeds, or not so much now, but I remember when food was like what people do. I think during the pandemic, I was seeing all kinds of food. Like, where y'all going? Where everybody at? I thought we was in the house. How you got all them crab legs in your feed? But anyway, so that's something that we have to. I saw this one clip of this. This was like when veganism was like kind of like becoming a big thing. For whatever people say about the Obamas, one thing I do know is that Michelle Obama helped to spearhead the way that we were talking about food in the Black community. There was a bump in how much we talk about food, the lifestyle changes we were making about food was because of Michelle Obama's, I can't remember her campaign that she had moved or whatever she had the garden and all that stuff. But anyhow, that now is such a big thing. Like you have I Am Tabitha Smith on IG. She has a lot of great recipes and stuff that she's sharing as a Black woman, cooking vegan food, making it popular, making it how we used to eat before we were enslaved. We used to eat like really well. And I feel like we have to do a better job as consumers, as recognizing the value in what's being marketed to us, right? If it doesn't really look, if it is not going to really solve the problems of poverty, of all of the things that keep basically hold us back, poverty, the educational problems we have, the lack of funding, all these different things. One thing we have to be able to do is leverage the fact that everybody loves our culture. And we can change we can change lifestyles, because people are, everything that's happening right now is Afro beats. I remember when the wave with reggae and the way that people were eating then back in the 90s, like, we have influence, we have the ability to make these changes if we want to. So I feel like just the exact same way that all these problems that have been plaguing us, because they market all of the stuff that Sharon was talking about. They market all this food, and they know this food ain't good for us, but they still don't have any shame with putting it out there for people to buy it, to consume it. We got to be able to leverage the fact that people like Black culture, and Black culture can actually be a healthy culture. So that's really my take on how we can solve this school to prison pipeline. I feel like it has to be reversed versus how we've been dealing with it. Because now we're basically saying, okay, these are the problems, right? Like, we've seen the patterns and how this society has worked against us. And I think now it has to be like, okay, so we know their hand. We know that what hand has been played against us. Now we got to play an even a higher hand.
Yeah, and it goes back to making sure we know who's running for this in our city, in our town, in our community. We make sure we know what they're about. What are they going to bring into the community? Because the crazy thing is, when it comes to the money being allocated in our environment, in our communities, when you see that the prisons are getting newer books and new computers, and the school system doesn't have, and you have schools with asbestos that you're sending kids to still. You have kids that are falling ill to how the schools are not being maintained, but this prison is brand new. The prison got a brand new roof. They got new fences. They just painted all of this stuff. That's
a shame.
State tax paying dollars that is being sent there because of whoever's in office signing off on, yes, I would like this to go here and not there. So that tells us that the prisons are concerned with making more money and not concerned with preventing younger children growing up to have to come here. So there's a reason for everything. There's a reason why they're not pushing healthier options to your kids. There's a reason why they're not pushing, hey, instead of you go out this weekend or you work this weekend, how about you stay home and you get to know your kids and you get to know what their needs are. They are pushing, ignore your kids, never mind them, watch this TV, let them watch their tablet, let them watch this show, let them watch this fake reality TV, and get all of this aggression and not know how to handle it, and let them come outside and let them not be around you, and let us arrest them and tell them that they have to admit to this crime here because they were in the area. And let's not tell them about their rights. And you didn't have enough time to teach your child about their rights, so they don't know. They're just signing on the dotted line, and now your child is doing 10 to 15 years for something they didn't do.
Well, because ignorance has been bliss in this country for so long when it comes down to our education system. Like, I didn't know this, even on the ACLU was basically saying that 16% of Black children are enrolled in public schools compared to 51% of of white children. And I'm like, how can people see that, know this, know what our school, the shape in our of what our schools look like? I mean, there's still schools that have asbestos and the ceilings falling out and there's mold in the school and all these different things. And then expect for these kids not to be in a situation you're consuming food that has chemicals, that has drugs in it, that's making our children addicts. And then they're in the place they're consuming the air. I mean, of course it's going to produce. What happened in Flint, Michigan? All those kids that got the lead poisoning, they're going to have learning disabilities. What is that? School to prison pipeline. They're not going to be able to hold jobs, so they're going to be impoverished. What is that? Now, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but I'm saying
it's a reality.
It's
the reality of the situation, and you'll have a whole bunch of people talking about, there's no point in talking about the past, or there's no point in bringing it up. unless you're going to do something today to change it. And the reality of doing something today to change it means I can't do it alone.
Yeah.
It means a bigger group of people, a bigger community that's acknowledging that this is a problem from all ethnicities. Because if there's a whole bunch of Chinese restaurants in a predominantly Black area or Hispanic area, or just any other ethnicity primarily lives here, but I want to put a Chinese restaurant here, do you think they're coming back to shop at our grocery stores? Do you think they're coming back to shop at our businesses, use our car washes? No. Yeah. They're going to close their stores and their shops. They're going to drive probably 45 plus minutes to an hour outside of our communities, and they're going to go home and they're going to spend their money in their communities and build up their communities and have us with food that's expired in a grocery store that they know our kids are going to buy because they're hungry. And that's the only option they have at this time of night because my mom is not home, my dad is not home.
Yep. And this goes back to why for us Black folks, poor folks, wherever you fall in between, why we have to have a higher standard of human life, place a higher value on human life. Because the truth is that these kids that we don't pay attention to today, they're going to be the kids that's out here tomorrow. This guy was 30 years old. He was an ex-con. He shot a 15-year-old in California. Now he's 30 years old. He's a young guy. He had a life to live. So he's now, he's an ex-con. So he was in the school to prison pipeline. So he's cycling in this, he's becoming an adult. And here it is. Of course, I'm sure the community is pointing fingers, trying to say how this man should be executed. Yes, he probably should. But guess what? We could have saved him as a community 30 years ago. Right. If we had just decided we're going to change our mindset about how we value the lives of those that are around us in our community. And I feel like we're not going to get to a place where we can actually really overcome some of these things until we decide that we have to look at the fact that we have to change our behaviors first and foremost. Parents have to know, friends and all of our friends I still have friends that I know today who just be like, oh, that's just, I can't do that. Change my life? No, I'm not ready for that. What you've been saying, for the last 10 years.
All the people that are willing to go out of state or go out of the country to go to a doctor to fix their bodies because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to change their diets. They don't want to work out. They don't want to treat themselves better, but they want to get fixed quick. And we can't rely on other people to fix the fact that our children don't know how to read or we don't have control over our child's behavior and we just let them do what they want because they always been like that. I don't want the first time my child is disciplined to be when they're 18 and they're outside of my house. So I do it now.
Right.
I don't want my first time that my child deals with authority or knows how to handle authority be after they're 18 and they're free to go outside of my household. I have to do it now. And it's all self-control that has to happen now. We have to have enough self-control to be like, yes, I see that I could go to this restaurant down the street. I can go to Popeyes. I can go to the chicken and fish spot, or I can just get me some oodle noodles because they're 25 cents a piece or 17 cents a piece. And I can just get this and eat this instead of spending all this money on food. But when it comes to my fit, I have to have the new Jordans. When it comes to my car, it has to have rims on it. Yes, it has a $500 car note, but I got the car. When it comes to the insurance, what's the lowest insurance I could get? Our priorities are messed up.
It is. And think about it this way too. All this, where some of this stuff, okay, let's just go beyond America for a moment. There's other countries where these people basically are enslaved. They're basically enslaved, making these sneakers, making their art, all these things that we love to consume in America. And I can't be totally against, I'm sitting there holding an iPhone in my hand and I definitely have problems with iPhone. Right. But we're here we are. The reality is we are where we are.
reason why we have iPhones, and children are the reason why we have a new iPhone coming out in November.
Exactly. And we don't realize that all, just to your point about talking about just somebody wanting to go get a quick fix and go get their liposuction or their nose done, all this stuff. These uber rich people, that the wives of these men that are owning these companies, these CEOs, those children are over there being enslaved basically to help, and going to prison too, because in, what is it, Philippines or is it Indonesia? I think Philippines. The president of the Philippines, he basically kills people who are on drugs, drug dealers. You're not going to jail. You're not going to go to court. You're going to die. And that's it. And of course, they're already in an impoverished, living in poverty. So it's like you either do the crime so that you can feed your family. Like it's all a cycle of us just not valuing life enough. So even in other countries, they're helping to get the lady some liposuction. We're in our country helping these people get liposuction, then turn back around or whatever else we're doing, turn back around, cutting our bodies up so we can live and look up to them. And they know that that's how we operate.
Yeah.
That's why they're able to do what they do. So, I think when Occupy Wall Street happened, because I remember a lot of conversation was about, that's when I learned a lot more about GMOs and all kinds of stuff that around that time. I feel like that was just the beginning of us talking about like the poor people's, like the mission of the poor people. And this has been like a poor people's campaign. I think that's what they've been calling it from like the 50s. Like it's been going on for so long. I think now the pandemic in a way has kind of enlightened us to be able to be more creative. Like we can slow down, be more patient in building the things we're trying to build, because their lifestyle is instant gratification. And it's been our lifestyle for a long time too, but it don't have to be anymore. But then, like us, we preaching to the choir to some people, because they're like, girl, I know how I'm trying to get next week. And it's like, but then you're going to get the belly like 2 months after that, because you already don't have any good habits to maintain this thing.
Yeah. What I would like to see as far as solutions is more parents, no matter what your ethnicity is, because we all have poor people in all ethnicities, to be more hands-on with your children, to pour into your kids. And if you're co-parenting, put your pride and your ego to the side and really like pour into your kids. Give them more options as to what they can do with their lifestyle. You don't have to just play sports. You don't have to work for somebody. Pour into the fact that, if you don't want to go to college, what's a business you would like to start? What's something you're really good at now that I can pour into? That way, by the time my child is 18, maybe I might take $15,000 or $20,000 and start them an online store and find a vendor on Alibaba and have them sell products. Maybe if I have my own business right now, I would like to put my child on payroll, maybe stuffing envelopes or stapling papers, and say that I pay them $12,000 for the year so I could get that tax credit, and I can more money in my household instead of having more money outside my household. Like there's so many things that we can be teaching our families and our kids right now, as far as like tax credits and how can we keep more money in our household. And if I spend $200 on these shoes, what is that doing to bring in money in my household? Am I wearing these shoes for another company that's going to pay me for advertising their shoes, or are they benefiting off of their shoes more than me? If I go out and get this car on this car note that I can't afford, can I afford the maintenance? Can I afford insurance? If not, just because I have $4,000 doesn't mean I need to buy a $4,000 vehicle. Maybe I should look for a vehicle that's $20,000 and then just figure out how I can pay off the rest. Like it's all in how you think and why you think about what you're doing. And yes, we did get a stimulus that we should have made a judgment on as to, okay, how can I use this money that they're giving me to bring in more income in my household? Can I start a business? What business would it be? How much money do I want to put out? And am I going to triple it and double it back to come back in my household? If so, let me go take $100 of this stimulus and go start a business online and get certified and licensed by the state. That's $100. Okay, if I have a logo, how much is it going to cost for me to do this logo? Okay, $250 or $350. Let me pay the $350. I'm investing in myself. All that money you're going to get back because you're putting it into your business, and it can be a tax write-off at the end of the year. We have to understand that we can't just use everything we got to get. We got to use a lot of what we get in order to throw it back out to get more coming in. People who are millionaires and billionaires have figured it out. And what it is I'm going to keep all my hard-earned cash, and I'm going to figure out to use my business and my status to get a business credit card. And I am going to use that instead of mess up my credit. And I'm going to fund how I want to live in my lifestyle. And I'm going to get a credit card that has the benefits to fund when I fly out. Oh, you think I'm paying for this plane? I'm not paying for this plane. My business is paying for this plane. You think I just purchased that Bentley? No, that's my business car. You think that house is my house? No, house is under my business. Okay. So there's a lot of ways to put up a front, but if we don't know, we're not going to grow. If we stay in the illusion of I have to go out and buy a Gucci purse to look like I'm important, you're going to get stuck, because a lot of these people that have Gucci purses, one, they're not real. Two, they're renting them. And three, they didn't buy them. They were that shit for free. So we have to understand that the school to prison pipeline has a lot to do with not knowing better and not being able to do.
Hey there, people. Hope you're enjoying the show. Don't forget to check out Cozy Womb Shop, okay? The link is in the bio. You can also reach the shop at www.whoisshan.com. On Cozy Womb Shop, my thing that I'm going for right now in the t-shirts is good colors, good fun colors for the kids, for mom, for dad, unisex, and some new masks and some new colors. And I'm focusing on spreading love and getting love, okay? So on there, find what you're into. I have stickers, I have hoodies, and I have mugs, okay? But we got to get into this new season of Cozy Womb Podcast while you enjoy your merch. Let's go.
Here we go.
Back to the show.
Better and not in the positions to get better opportunities, and not knowing who's in our communities making decisions that will fundamentally stall us out in society, stall our kids out in society. And if we keep repeating the same things and the same habits, nothing new is going to get done.
And we have to challenge it. We have to challenge everything that once was. Yes. Like everything that once was, it served us until it no longer did. And I would say, as of 2020, none of those things served us anymore. We have to pave something better than what we've been doing. And I think the pillars of that has to be through culture. Through our community, through culture, and also through our religious system, religious temples, whatever people want to go to in order to help manage morality. I think it needs to be clearer than what it has been before, and it has to have a high value on people's lives, because right now, that the fact that all these, just five from February to March, 15-year-olds were shot in the community, and these kids were doing well in school. They were not in the path of the school to prison pipeline, but they died in their community because of others who were on the path to the school to prison pipeline. So it's like, it's us needing to pay attention to all of the children in our community, and not just some of the children, the ones that are doing really well, but the ones who aren't doing well too, and asking questions like, y'all all right? Y'all got some food? If you see somebody struggling with a little bit of food, you got a little extra money to help out with some groceries in your community, help out some groceries in the community. It'll go far. That person will, maybe if they have a little pride, maybe they won't like having to say thank you for it. But in the long run, they'll pay it forward. And an example of many people who have helped me along the way, me and Kevin along the way. And there's so many things that I've learned as a result of people helping me that when I have it, I can pay it forward. And I think that's something that we have to be consistent about too, is like just paying small things like that forward. When we see somebody doing something, it might be so different, maybe so left, so sideways. Like, you ain't getting no new car. That car, you've been driving that car for like 15 years. That car is about to break down. Why don't you use your stimulus to get a car? Use a car. Because just like Sharon laid out, I'm getting ready to build a business. I want to build a small garden, a family garden, and I want to be able to feed the community. Oh, that's what you're doing? Oh, okay. Girl, she got that car, right? And then 2 years later, that person got the whole garden. They got a line, got a smoothie shop with it's a whole city.
Your reasons for what you do with what you have is not the reasons my neighbor is going to do with what they have, or my friend down the street is going to do with what they have. Figure out what your priorities are, right?
Yes.
And when it comes to our communities, if I don't teach them or I don't think outside the box, then I'm going to watch people stall out. Yep. If I know better and I don't share the information, what good is it going to do me to hold on to something I already know? Why can't I go tell somebody that doesn't know or is not aware of? If I have multiple coupons for an item I can only buy one time, what good is it going to serve me to hold on to this coupon that's going to expire today? Right. No, I'm going to put it on the shelf next to the item just in case somebody wants to buy it. That way they go ahead and get that discount. It's about not being selfish. It's about being selfless.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And that's the heart of it right there.
We have to think ahead.
Yes. That is it right there. Because they're not going to think about us. They do not think about us.
They're thinking that.
Oh, they do. They think about us with the money they want to make, but they're not thinking about us in terms of our longevity, our abilities for us to progress and have something in legacy. Like, they're not thinking about any of that stuff.
No. Oh, why would we keep the Barnes and Noble open in this community? They don't really read. Let's close it and put a beauty supply store. Let's keep the Barnes and Noble open over here in this area because the demographic, they probably like to read. Like, all of that is going into the way that they think. If you go into a certain area and all you see is package stores, that's what we call liquor stores in the South, and chicken and fish spots, you see a whole bunch of gas stations with small shops in it, and you see a lot of check cashing places, but you can't find anywhere that sells salad bars. You can't find anywhere that has fresh fruit. You can't find anywhere that has a standard bank or a working ATM that doesn't charge you $10 just to go in your own account and get your own money. That's whole bunch of people making decisions about a group of people and what they don't need because they're not going to use it and they have no use for it.
Yeah.
When in reality, we all need clean water. When in reality, we all need healthy food. When in reality, we all should be having a good education. But there are people that feel like they are above us. They are better than us. They should have more and we should have less, to teach people a lesson and what to aim for in life. And then you have a whole bunch of kids who are at an adult age with a child mindset that think, I have to find a quicker way to get it because if they want me to do it the right way, it's going to take me too long. And I need that instant gratification. And we're going to keep filling up these prisons with our young people that are wasting 30 to 40 years of their life and coming out with no opportunity.
Yeah. And I think for many people who, one of the things that I think we still have to leave behind us if we're really going to shed all this weight is judgment against each other too. Because when it comes down to, you're saying something, right, that's actually it's tough love, right? It's almost like we have lost the appreciation of having tough love in our community. And as soon as you say something like, we need to do this with our children, don't do this, do this. Oh, why are you saying like that? What you trying to say? I'm a bad mother? Nobody's talking about you being a bad mother. What we're saying is that the behaviors aren't great. Here's an alternative that's actually the better alternative. And until we actually put aside our own pride and whatever faults we feel like we have that we feel like is a burden to everybody else, and just realize we're really all in a situation trying to figure out how to be better. But if you see somebody who's doing better, and you see their kids look like they got their kids together, their family looks like they have it together, take that as a person who's giving you an opportunity to show you how they were able to do it, and how you can imitate it to a degree where you can mold it into your own life, customize it into your own life. But we have to be okay with, to your point, if I have a garden and my garden flourishes, it shouldn't be a problem if, I don't know what miles are, but let's say the city over, my friend who also wants a garden, get that girl in that city, build that garden, take care of that city and that garden. I'm going to do this over here too. Or let's band together. I mean, there's so many positive ways for us to do better. And we have to learn how to get out of our way, especially when it comes down to the judgment, because the judgment, I think, is the thing that also has been a roadblock for us, because we're too proud, and we're too proud for the wrong things. So that's my little piece right there, and we'll jump into the messages and then summarize. Okay.
The prison pipeline with food. Very familiar with the school to prison pipeline, and the with food part, bring me to speed.
You're gonna have to listen to this.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Beginning of this, that's when we went over the food. But thank you for your message, Damien.
Good afternoon, ladies. I want to say I'm so glad to have come across the podcast that's talking about this. I don't know if this has been said, but my honest belief on the type of food that we're feeding our children is a lot of it comes down to what they're drinking. In my household, I'm proud to say that we don't drink soda.
Yes.
And we do have natural juice, but it has to be 100%. And for the most part, it's water. Either purified or filtered, but it's water. Because, in all honesty, that's the only way you know that you don't have any chemicals or anything that's not supposed to be in your system that you're consuming it. So I think making sure that we're hydrated properly plays a big role in how our children act and behave.
Yes. Yes. Food is medicine. Yes, yes, yes.
Yo, I was just reading the title. I just got up in there. Y'all talking about prison? Because
I didn't hear the end. He said yeet.
Right.
Okay.
You're talking about a lot of it and how the food that people feed their kids now are connected with their behavior in school, and how that is a plus for people who have prisons and want to go ahead and fill it up, and how we just got to get on top of that. So yeah, come on, Joe. Okay.
Sorry, Joe, you didn't make it.
Homeschooling is the #1 cause of genius, guaranteed.
Yeah. I hope that in this whatever next 100 years that's here, that many more communities continue to build our own school. I think with the whole Republican plan of taking money away from public schools, I understand it to a degree, but I don't think that it was their job for them to make that decision. I feel like the people need to go and lobby the local governments or the state and house of our government, governorship, will have you, I'm not speaking right, but we need to basically petition them and say to them, give us back the money. We will then build our own schools. You will see the results of it. Like, we just need to break up the system that we've had so far, because it just does not work.
Yeah, the curriculum no longer works for today's kids, and this Constitution no longer works for today's citizens that are adults that are out here making adult decisions. So both of those things need to change, because if you look at Montessori schools, those kids excel 10 times better than any child that's in a predominantly private school or public school with the same age children in the classroom. If you have 12 kids in your class and they range from ages 5 to 12 years old, and they're all helping teach each other how to problem solve and how we can use arithmetic and reading and writing in order to solve our problems, and how to talk to each other, your kids are going to learn on a different level.
Yeah. It's, you know what? The one thing I will say before I get to the next message is that I know, to your point earlier, you were saying that people ask, what are we going to do about it? Ideas, conversation lead to doing. It leads to us supporting and saying, okay, instead of me, like, I know this year, what we're going to start doing is, if we can get buy things in bulk that don't have a lot of container material, or we can get glass jars to go to places. I don't care about to drive an hour to go get it. We can go take the trip and go drive and go find a grocery store that does not package, that you have to bring your own jars. That's a commitment that I'm making this year for me to reduce my footprint. And I've learned that because of someone else. Just seeing somebody else do it, like, I didn't think about that. I never imagined that I can do something like that to help, right? Talking about different food choices we can make. Maybe I'm not full vegan, but I eat a lot less meat. I eat more vegetables. All of that became because I saw somebody else. I imitated what I saw somebody else do. That was something that I thought was favorable to my mind and body and spirit. So, it just goes to people not realizing that an idea is what causes our feet to move and our hands to work, and for us to see manifestation. So I'm glad that I'm glad you had this topic. It's really important for us to keep, as moms, talking about it.
I think people need to wake up to population control is a real thing, and population distribution is a real thing. So when you go to school, I think it's already an expectation of those students. Some are going to be in jail, some are going to be in construction, tech, whatever. But there is a systematic distribution system as far as our population. And I think we do need to address those things.
We do. We need to allow people to curate what our gifts are and be able to see it for what it is, and for us to be able to benefit from our own gifts and talents without having to do this thing that they've done. They basically put us in boxes and told us that this is what you go to school to do, and this is what you're going to do when you're an adult. We don't care what other things. I don't care if you like to do ballet. I don't care if you know how to do some kind of magical trick. You're going to be a plumber. It's like, well, what if my magical trick teaches something? Like, we just we got to break through that.
When successful Black businessmen talk about what their teacher told them when they were 7, what their teacher told them when they were 10, and in the classroom, that you weren't going to be nothing, you were going to be this, or you're going to be dead by such and such. Because there's kids out here right now who are being told they're not going to be anything, or they probably won't make it. And so the more we keep hearing those stories, and today's kids keep hearing those stories of how people already spoke upon defeat to successful men who are billionaires, to successful women who've been to outer space and have their own businesses, their own banks, their own food chains. We need to hear more of those stories, because it will speak defeat upon your child who is very bright, who is very intelligent, and they will completely bury their passions behind that.
Yes. Yep.
One thing I think the schools really need to focus on, especially African American schools and minority schools, is the implementation of shop class again. Just reintroducing shop class, reintroducing just like physical technology, automotive, just everything as far as working with your hands. Because the reality is that being in an office and all that stuff isn't for everybody, and our schools are set up just for people to be in the office, really, and then everybody else has to fend for themselves. That's why we always look down on the janitors. We always look down on everybody else except for the people making a lot of money. But we need to implement basic, labor skills, construction skills for people, so we have options, and this is good work in that, and good money.
Yeah, so true.
And now, as we stand as African Americans, the only ones that really have a good sense of skills, labor skills, is ones whose father and grandfather kind of taught them the skills, or those who went to jail and learned the skill in jail and came out and done their thing. And I've seen both sides, so but there is a lack of African American hands and African American bodies in building, continuing to build this country. And I think there's a value in that. There's value in that, and I think that's the one thing in school that we are missing. It's just being real, the realism. Everybody's not going to go to college. Everybody's not going to be into books and in the office and doing all that shit. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, it's true.
I agree. Same thing here in Canada, wherever you may be.
Okay, thank you for agreeing. Yeah, we are in the process of building anew, and in order to come out of what we've been into, I mean, the sheer numbers of just how far our communities are from each other, how segregated our communities are from each other, and how much oppression still befalls our community. But I feel like this is a unique time for us to think about our money differently, so that these statistics, these numbers don't mean anything anymore, that they don't have that power and control over us. But that's, again, just to conclude, like, my biggest thing is community, culture, and religion. And those three things have to be something that's central to how we progress, because I think that's how they've been able to destroy us in the past. They've taken advantage of our culture. They leverage our culture. So we should make sure if you're gonna leverage our culture, you're gonna leverage it the way that we tell you that it's cool. We're the ones that tell you about the stuff that we like. You can leverage that after we make it right. Right. Religion, they've taken that identity too. Well, we've always had pathways to be able to solve our problems. We'll also make sure that that's something that you leverage as part of the culture, because you're going to want to be a part of it too. And the community, well, look at what happens when we start talking about buying Black. Everybody want to be a part. Hey, why are you going to try to integrate? Why are you going to try to do all these different things to keep us excluded? We're not trying to exclude anybody. We're simply just looking at within and saying that we've seen the patterns, we understand what it has done to our communities, and we're saying that we're clever enough. We've been clever because we've survived this long. We're clever enough to do something differently that hasn't been done before, or at least to be more aggressive about it and be more serious about seeing those things manifest. So kick it back to you, Shan.
Every culture and ethnicity has never been questioned about why they only have their own store. You have your own people in this shopping market. You only have your own people in these banks. You only have your own people as realtors in this community, except for Black people. We are always questioned. Our businesses have always been burnt down. Our schools have always been burnt down. Our churches and our places of worship and creation have always been destroyed. We are the only culture that gets questioned about why are you taking it back to being segregated. No other community and place and people are questioned, and we have to keep going against that grain. We have to bring back ownership and the okayness of being independent. This government system have kept so many people, brilliant people, intelligent people, very dependent on the fact that I can't make more than 25K or they'll take my food stamps. I can't make more than 25K or they'll take my SSI. I can't make more than this or they'll do this and I won't have this and then I would have to do this. Stop being scared of doing it yourself. Stop being scared of pouring into yourself. Stop waiting for a government to come rescue you and do it yourself. Because the reality is you cannot create a lifestyle that is worth living on 25K a year. You cannot create a lifestyle that is worth living on 35K a year.
Yeah.
You need to be making at least 75 or better K a year to be comfortable in 2021 in the United States. And if you are not making that, you are considered poor. This stimulus, this credit, this tax credit that they introduced, now if you are making under, I think, 150K a year, you're the only group of people that can get it. That tells me that there's a lot of fucking people making over 150K a year. So if I'm not making that, in my mind, I am considered poor class or I'm poor. So just reach. I'm not telling you to quit on yourself. I'm not telling you to gamble your life. I'm telling you to find your passion, own it, start your business and reach, and stop letting a government cap you on what you can and you cannot have.
Yeah. Or even defining what is poverty. Because that's another thing too. That's a little trick that they've been doing too. Oh, you're poor if you don't have. What if I want to live as a minimalist and be okay with just having enough? Why isn't enough enough? Why do you have to keep putting these things in front of all these commodities in front of me that really are nothing, worth nothing? All they do is cause more trash.
Right.
Why do you put these things in front of me? So that's another thing too. I think that the vanity that this society has pushed in front of us to celebrate greed, and that's how our economy works right now. Is to a degree, well, mostly that greed is good. I feel like at the same time, we have to just redefine what poverty means, because they do this in Africa all the time too. They're like, they're so impoverished and look at the people don't have any shoes. And listen, if the people have running water and they're eating clean food and they're not having an obesity problem with diabetes and all that stuff, I consider that to be wealthy because they got good health. Maybe a little couple, maybe yes, they have to deal with some diseases, but everybody has to deal with diseases in this world. But the fact that they single out Black Africans as if they have these unique diseases, and the reason why they're starving is because of greed, or because of people have leveraged those their leaders or supposed leaders. So I think that we have to really define what is poverty now, because they've been telling us this is one thing. And making us chase and commit all these crimes, and they've got all these kids going to prison because they're stealing shoes and they're murdering each other. So goddamn, it is a mess.
Poverty is in the mind, because if you think about what you have and how much money you spent on it and how many times you actually use it, or do you really put it on, or do you really use that? Do you really need that? Do I need 5 TVs in my house, or do I only need one? Do I even have TV? Why am I paying $500 a month for cable? Why am I paying for all of these appliances and I don't need them? Oh, everybody has a deep fryer. You should get a deep fryer. Why should I get a deep fryer? There's a reason why companies bombard your email with at least 70 emails on Monday morning. There is a reason why they hit you up with discounts, and they want your email, and they want your text messages. There's a reason why stores are asking, do you want this receipt emailed to you, or do you want it printed? I want my receipt printed, because if I give you my email, that's for you to send me more information. There is a reason why you are targeted at the place you are targeted for. There are reasons why when you go to Walmart and you only want one thing, you come out with 15 things. And there is a reason why those cable people are in Walmart asking you, how much do you pay for cable or your wireless provider? Be smart and be surrounded by people who want to elevate themselves. And if people around you don't want to elevate themselves, people around you don't take care of their kids, people around you are doing crimes to get ahead, but next year you see them in the same position. That's not it.
Yeah. Yep. We have to, I'm telling you, it's time for us to, everything we thought, we can clearly see it don't work. It works for some people, but it don't work for all the people. And if it don't work for all the people, it got to go.
That's a fact. But thank you, Eruth, for doing this with me.
Thank you. We got 3?
Huh?
No, I was saying, I didn't mean to cut you off. I said, yeah, we got 3. And you were saying it was most.
Oh, yes. It was good. It was mostly needed.
Yes.
I know a lot of people that came through and commented they know about it.
Yes.
I just want to inform the people that don't. And I want to keep talking about it until people see that,
Yes.
okay, we can't push this anymore, because they know they onto us now. And when you go to the grocery store, just be mindful. Be mindful of what you buy, why you buy it, what products are pushed at the register, what products are not shown, why you have to ask someone that works at the store for something that's healthier and it's not pushed in front of your face. There's a reason. And if there's a mom and pop store that's selling fruit, or somebody selling fruit from their garden, or a fruit stand, or vegetables, go out your way and go support them. Because if you don't support them, they're going to think they're not needed and they're going to disappear. And then you're going to wonder why you don't have that option anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I do agree. We definitely need to keep having the conversation. We definitely need to keep talking about the layers of it. And that's how we're going to change this and be a part of the change too. So thank you, girl.
I'm going to play these messages and then we got to get out of here.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm new to this app. It's the first time I've done anything, so hopefully I'm doing something right. I just came across your conversation. I think it's wonderful that this platform provides space for people like you to talk about these concerns. As a teacher myself, it's something that we concentrate on: emotional intelligence, emotional balance. Through levels of high school, because that's when everything changes. So concentrating on that for students is something that I do in classes like influences, and talking about influences, healthy influences and unhealthy influences is something that we try to concentrate on in some of the lectures that we do. So hey man, it's wonderful to meet all y'all. Bless y'all.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We need teachers. We love teachers. Thank you.
Out the box education is where it's at.
Hey, and real talk, I just on some real talk. If there was a McDowell's, we need to support the McDowell's and leave McDonald's alone. It's all about the transferring the money and all that stuff. We need to focus on that for real.
I agree. Let's make it a healthy McDowell's.
Good point. She gets the pod. It's a fear of success. I think in some kind of way. I think that's been indoctrinated in our minds for years and years and years as Black people. Just the fear of success, the fear of the jealousy, the fear of just being in that level. So yeah, the whole I don't want to make this much or I don't want to make that much, but not having the mindset or the goal to make, I can make $100,000 and not have to, I'm going to spend all the money on food and the government's not going to help me, but I'm going to have enough for that. And we do need to get out of that mindset of being independent, because, once we're always, grabbing and asking for the government, they'll always have that power over us.
Yes.
It's when we boycott right, stand up for ourselves and make our own moves, that's when the government will move into our favor.
Yes.
Yeah. We're definitely armed with knowledge and iron. They can't come and do the fair stuff they used to do and burn down things. And that's why we're scared to have any success for all these years. Not no more. But thank you, babe.
Thanks. Thank you, Eruth, for doing this show.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I hope you enjoy your Sunday. My birds are outside, are definitely enjoying their seeds.
Yes.
I've been watching them while we've been recording. I'm about to go cook my Sunday dinner and edit.
Yes. Because I've been a pirate. And I'm gonna go back to my job, and I will see y'all. We'll see y'all on the other side. We'll look out for us again. We'll have other shows, and She Gets a Pod is the girl, the gal. Love you, lady. Have a good day too.
Love you too. Bye.
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 Bye.